As you have probably experienced, we spend a long time teaching vocabulary to students. However, let's say if you teach 200, 300 words in a month or in a period of 2 months, you see that only a few students can use more than 10, maybe 15 words in their speaking skills or writing papers. Um, the problem is many students can use only a limited portion of the vocabulary they study. So, um, probably you have heard about cognates. Let me tell you what a cognate is. Cognates are words in English and the learner's language that are similar and have a similar meaning. For example, the Turkish word communication has the same meaning to the English word communication. So, anybody who sees the word communication can relate to, can understand that it means communication. It means communication, because the word communication, Turkish word, comes from communication. It's the same for station, 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 location, location. That's why if cognates are integrated to vocabulary learning studies, I believe it will have significant benefits to reading, writing, and speaking skills as well. Of course, this is not only my idea. Some studies have been already made about cognates. Um, Ruben Molina says teachers do not teach cognates. Why? Because lexical and syntactic cognates do not need to be taught. Why? Because learners do not learn cognates, they do not need to be learned, because cognates are just immediately and effortlessly recognized. They are automatically understood, either consciously, subconsciously, or unconsciously. This is so because active or passive cognitive recognition depends on our mother tongue and the language we already possess, not on the foreign language being learned. The cognate facilitation effect occurs when two languages have words similar in form for the same concept, thus offering help to the learner. Instead of acquiring two words for a simple concept, one in each language, the child acquires the word in one language. When the child comes across the word in the other language, it is directly known to them, albeit perhaps in a slightly different form. Thus, the child doesn't need to spend resources to acquire this word in the other language. They can logically deduce the meaning of this word in one language once it is known in the other. So, what is the problem? As I mentioned before, although a large portion of time is spent on teaching vocabulary, the rate of retention and the range of vocabulary used in speaking and writing remains very limited. Learners simply cannot recall most of the vocabulary they have studied. So, we want to find out how can the use of cognates improve reading, writing, and speaking skills. Our dependent variable is the level of reading, writing, and speaking skills with the student's present vocabulary. So independent variable is the use of cognates, and the study will be a mixed type. How will we collect data? We will use student speaking rubric, student writing rubric, and reading scores. And we will analyze the results by student speaking assessment, student writing assessment, and reading assessment. What are the limitations? As well as cognates, which have the same meaning or very similar meaning, there are also false cognates. What are false cognates? They look very similar, but they have a different meaning. But this doesn't conceal the benefit of studying cognates, because although it's important to take into consideration, the number of false cognates is only 200, and their irrelevant impact on language acquisition and production contrasts to the number of real cognates. So the number of real cognates is 20,000. That's why the number of false cognates is minimum 1 to 100. So, students are likely to improve their reading, writing, and speaking skills by the study and use of cognates. Thank you.